The next content, harmonics. So what does harmonic means and what are their effects? Let's see. So simply, harmonics are the unwanted signals present in a required signal. As the main aim of alternator is to generate pure sinusoidal induced EMF, but because of presence of harmonics, that pure sinusoidal induced EMF becomes non-sinusoidal. Means this is the desired induced EMF waveform, but because of presence of harmonics, or sinusoidal induced EMF is becoming non-sinusoidal. Non-sinusoidal. So, according to the Fourier analysis, every non-sinusoidal signal can be considered as the combination of sinusoidal signals of different frequencies. So, because of harmonics, our pure sinusoidal induced EMF is becoming non-sinusoidal. In order to make our induced EMF sinusoidal, we have to eliminate these harmonics. So according to Fourier analysis, every non-sinusoidal signal can be represented in terms of different sinusoidal signals with different frequencies. So this is our required fundamental signal, it's pure sinusoidal signal, and these are the harmonics. So here if you observe, there are harmonics are the combinations of odd signals plus even signals. So harmonics are classified as even harmonics and odd harmonics. And in case of alternators, even harmonics are eliminated. So how they are eliminated we can see now. And so as even harmonics are eliminated, our consideration must be to reduce odd harmonics. Okay. So now let's see how even harmonics are eliminated in alternators. Consider this to be odd harmonic signal and let this be even harmonic signal. And let us suppose a coil is considered. So coil is a combination of two conductors with N connections. So this is the conductor and this is the other conductor. Okay. Now because of this odd harmonic signal, there will be EMF induced in the conductor, as well as because of even harmonics, EMF also will be induced in this conductor. Let us suppose this to be positive side and let this suppose to be negative side. Okay. As the conductor is under the influence of odd and even harmonics, and these harmonics are on positive side, so the direction of induced EMFs because of odd and even harmonics will be on same direction. Means let us suppose because of positive side, EMF induced will be upward direction. So this is due to odd and this is due to even. Now consider the conductor of same coil. Now if you observe, even harmonic is on positive side and odd harmonic is on negative side. So EMF induced due to even harmonic will be in one direction and EMF induced due to odd harmonic will be in other direction. So we consider that positive side harmonics will have upper direction. So positive direction EMF due to even harmonics be upwards, and because of negative side harmonic, the direction of induced EMF will reverse. So downward direction. And now observe here the directions of induced EMFs. Odd harmonic induced EMF direction is same. So the EMFs will add. Whereas the EMFs induced due to even signals, if you observe, the directions are opposite. As the EMFs are equal and opposite direction, they get cancelled. So EMFs induced because of even harmonics are cancelled, whereas the EMFs due to odd harmonics are present. So from this discussion, what we can conclude that even harmonics are not present in alternators. So only our consideration must be now to reduce odd harmonics. Why these harmonics means? Because of non-sinusoidal flux distribution in the air gap present between stator and rotor. So if the flux distribution in the air gap between stator and rotor is non-sinusoidal, induced EMF also will be non-sinusoidal, which is not desirable. So to make the induced EMF sinusoidal, we have to make the flux distribution sinusoidal. There are two types of harmonics: space harmonics and slot harmonics. So let us discuss first space harmonics and then slot harmonics. Space harmonics. Space harmonics are because of the different flux densities in the air gap. Means space harmonics depends on poles. Means as we know that N is equal to 120 F by P, N is inversely proportional to P. So for nth order harmonic, where small n is order of harmonic. So nth order harmonic is directly proportional to 1 by n times P. Therefore, the speed of nth order harmonic is synchronous speed by n. And order of space harmonics is 6k plus or minus 1, and 6k plus 1 order harmonic are called as positive sequence harmonics. Why? Because the harmonics of 6k plus order will rotate along the same direction of the rotating magnetic field. So is why they are called as positive sequence harmonics. And 6k minus 1 order harmonics are called as negative sequence harmonics, because the harmonics of 6k minus 1 order will rotate in opposite direction to the rotating magnetic field. So now let's see how the 6k plus 1 order are called as positive sequence and how 6k minus 1 order harmonics are called as negative sequence harmonic. For k is equal to 1, let's consider fifth harmonic. As we know that the regularly followed phase sequence is R by B, and they are having a phase difference of minus 120 and B at an angle minus 240. So with fifth harmonic, the phases will be minus 120 into 5 and B minus 240 into 5, which implies R at an angle 0 and Y at an angle minus 240, and B will become B at an angle minus 120. Now draw the phase sequence with this. So R0 and B minus 120 and Y is refers to R minus 240. So observe the phase sequence. Okay, this is the phase sequence we followed, and this is the phase sequence because of the fifth harmonic. Okay, R by B is the phase sequence, but here the phase sequence has become R by Y. So the speed of this 6k minus 1 order harmonic will be opposite direction to the rotating magnetic field. So is why the harmonics of order 6k minus 1 are called as negative sequence harmonics. Next, seventh harmonic considered. Then phase becomes R 0 y minus 120 into 7 and b minus 240 into 7. That implies r at an angle 0, y at an angle minus 20 and b at an angle minus 240. So here the phase sequence has not changed. Okay, RYB phase sequence is followed, so that the harmonics of order 6k plus 1 will rotate along the same direction of rotating magnetic field. So is why the harmonics of order 6k plus 1 are called as positive sequence harmonics. And there are time harmonics too. Depends on frequency. So the speed of nth order time harmonic is equal to n times the synchronous speed. Slot harmonics. So slot harmonics are due to slots in the inner periphery. Until now what we have considered is that this is the stator and let this be the rotor. The air gap length present between the rotor and stator is uniform, and it is said it without considering the stator slot. And if you consider the stator slot too, then let us suppose this is stator slot and the flux from the rotor, okay, the flux from the rotor will have one air gap length with the stator slot and other air gap length with the stator teeth. Because of that there will be some harmonics, and that harmonics we call it as slot harmonics. And let us suppose this is our induced EMF, and because of the slot harmonics our induced EMF will become like this. This is due to slot harmonics. And simply slot harmonics are of higher orders because they are having an order of 2 into s by p plus or 1. So slot harmonics are of higher orders, so they will have very little impact on the fundamental signal. So as well a little distortion will be present in our induced EMF because of slot harmonics. And remember that slot harmonics can't be eliminated. As they can't be eliminated, they have to be reduced. And here Kp and Kd means pitch factor and distribution factor are same as that of fundamental. Slot harmonics can be reduced by using fractional pitch winding and skewing. Stator slots. And about fractional pitch winding will be discussed in the armature winding topic. So now let's see how the stator slots skewing will reduce the harmonics, that is slot harmonics. Let's have a look from the top view on the stator. Okay, and from inner periphery the slots will be straight like this. Okay, so these are the slots present in the inner periphery of the stator. And what is skewing means, if you observe like this, from the inner periphery slots will be like this, means they are skewed. So what is the purpose of skewing means? To reduce the slot harmonics. Okay, now let's discuss how slot harmonics are reduced. And let us suppose this is our stator teeth and let this be our stator slot. Okay, this is slot and this is teeth. And as you know, the conductor will be placed on the stator slot, and observe the flux coming from the rotor will have different air gap lengths because of stator teeth and because of stator slot. So is by their harmonics. And now let's see how the stator slot skewing reduces our slot harmonics. So for that, skewing is done and this is skewed slot. And now observe that here the flux coming from the rotor, it will experience both the air gap lengths because of the stator slot and stator teeth too. So along this axis, observe that after half of the axial length, stator teeth will enter the stator slot area and stator slot will enter the stator teeth area. So it's like this flux will experience both the air gap length due to slot and due to teeth. And as this experience is uniform throughout the periphery of the stator, the flux distribution will be uniform. So that by this way, the harmonics due to slots can be reduced. The next content of this video is armature winding. Here the important terms associated with armature winding are known. So first discuss about coil. So coil is the combination of two conductors with end connections. Means like this. So this is the conductor and this is the conductor and these are end connections. And this is single turn coil. And if the coil is wound like this, and the end connection is brought like this, and all the coiloids of these are wrapped with a tape, then this will look like this. So this is called multi-turn coil and this is called coil side and this is the coil side. So this is about the coil. And next, pole pitch. So pole pitch is the peripheral distance between the two adjacent poles from center to center. Means if suppose this is the north pole, if suppose this is the south pole, and these two are, let us suppose, the adjacent poles. So pole pitch is defined as the peripheral distance between the adjacent poles from center to center and measured in terms of number of slots or in terms of electrical degrees. So pole pitch is equal to number of slots per pole, or that is equal to 180 degrees electrical. Next, coil span. So coil span is the distance between the two conductors of a coil. So it can be measured in terms of number of slots. Coil span. Next, full pitch winding. If coil span is equal to pole pitch, then that type of winding is called as full pitch winding. Next, short pitch winding. If coil span not equal to pole pitch, then that winding is called as short pitch winding. So in case of full pitch winding, coil span is equal to S by P, or that is equal to 180 degrees. Whereas for short pitch winding, coil span is less than S by P or less than 180 degrees electrical. Remember that if number of turns increases, the voltage rating can be increased. For suppose, let us consider this as North Pole, and let us suppose this as South Pole, and let us suppose this slot let us suppose these are the slots in which conductor is to be placed. Consider this coil full pitch winding. Let us suppose if I place this coil side in this slot, then this coil side will come under this side, means like this. Okay. Now if I extend it to the another coil like this and like this, so if you observe the EMFs induced in this conductor, okay, now I am redrawing this again, winding without the poles. Let us suppose like this, and these three conductors are under the influence of North Pole, and these three conductors are under the influence of South Pole. EMFs induced because of North Pole, let be in same direction like this, and the EMFs induced due to South Pole, let this be like this. So by applying KVL, you can observe that the EMFs are additive. Suppose if this is 5 volts, if this is 5 volts, so how much the voltage between the two ends means 30 volts here. So in order to increase the voltage rating, just increase the number of turns. Next, coil span angle represented by beta, and Chording angle represented by alpha. So alpha plus beta is equal to 180 degrees. If the coil is fully pitched, means coil span is equal to the pole pitch, then alpha is 0. Okay. If the coil span is less than the pole pitch, then it is said to be that coil is short pitched. So short pitched by how much angle? That angle is alpha. So that is why it is called as Chording angle. Let us consider the salient pole type of alternator, 4-pole salient pole type of alternator, and let this be South Pole, North Pole, South Pole, North Pole, and the conductors of constitution be here. Let the direction of rod rotation be clockwise, and by applying Fleming's right hand rule, it is found that the direction of induced EMF is outwards, and to this is inwards, and to this inwards, and to this outwards. And the resultant effect we have seen in later case that like this, and this will act as North Pole, and this will act as South Pole, and this act North Pole, and this will act as South Pole. Remember that the poles formed on the stator of alternator are induced poles, and the pole pitch is defined as the peripheral distance between the two adjacent poles, and which can be equated to here 180 degrees of span. Okay, and now phase belt, which is represented with M. It is defined as the number of slots per pole per phase. Let this be the North Pole, and let this be the South Pole, and let this be the scatter slots, and these slots are under the influence of North Pole, and these slots are under the influence of South Pole. Let it be. And if I place the R-phase conductors in 3 slots which are under the influence of North Pole, then So here M is said to be 3 because here the number of slots per pole per phase. So R phase conductors are distributed in 3 slots. Suppose this is the another stacker slot, and these slots are under the influence of North Pole and these slots are under the influence of South Pole. If suppose R phase conductors are distributed only in 2 slots, means 2 adjacent slots, then here M is defined as 2 because here R phase is distributed only in 2 slots. So here the number of slots per pole per phase are only 2. So here M is said to be 2. Next, phase spread. Phase spread is defined as the angle subtended by phase belt. Means here M is 3, means number of slots per pole per phase, means phase belt is 3. And what is the angle subtended by this phase belt is known as phase spread, means which is given by M into gamma, where M is number of slots per pole per phase and gamma is slot angle, which is given by 180 degrees by S by P, where S is number of slots and P is number of poles. Now let us see the classification of armature winding. So armature winding is classified as concentrated winding and distributed armature winding. And distributed armature winding is classified as full pitch winding and short pitch winding. And short pitch winding is classified as integral short pitch and fractional short pitch winding. And here the distributed winding especially for to reduce the higher order harmonics. So higher order harmonics are less dominant harmonics because they have less effect on the fundamental signal. Whereas short pitch winding, this is used for reducing the lower order harmonics. Lower order harmonics are the dominant harmonics. These have major effect on the fundamental signal. And fractional short pitch winding, this is used for reducing the slot harmonics. Okay. Now let us discuss about short pitch winding. Short pitch winding. So if the coil span is less than the pole pitch, then that type of winding is called a short pitch winding. Consider North Pole and South Pole like that, and consider a coil like this. Okay, so this is said to be full pitch winding because here the coil span is equal to the peripheral distance between the two adjacent poles measured from center to center. Pole pitch is equal to coil span. But if the coil span is less than the pole pitch, let us suppose for coil span, so for short pitch winding, coil span is theta and short pitched by an angle called chording angle. So alpha plus theta is equal to 180 degrees. For a full pitch winding, alpha is 0, so that beta is equal to 180 degrees, means coil span is equal to 180 degrees. For short pitch winding, alpha plus beta is equal to 180 degrees. And it is also said that short pitch winding is short pitched by an angle alpha. Or in terms of the number of slots, it can also be said like that, like short pitch winding is short pitched by 2 slots, short pitched by 3 slots, etc. Pitch factor or coil span factor or chording factor. So pitch factor Kp is defined as the ratio of vector sum of EMF induced in a coil of short pitch winding to the arithmetic sum of EMF in a coil of full pitch winding. Let for full pitch number of slots be 7. Let short pitch winding short pitched by 1 slot, means if this is the EMF induced in a conductor of a coil which is placed in first slot, and if the winding is full pitch, then the EMF induced in the conductor which is placed in 7th slot be E7, then the resultant is equal to the sum of both EMFs. Whereas here short pitch winding means here it is said that short pitch by 1 slot. Let it be short pitch by an angle alpha. So E6. So here the induced EMF is the vector sum of the EMF induced in E1 and E6. Means this is the resultant here. This is alpha by 2 and this is alpha by 2. Now resultant is equal to root over E1 square plus E6 square plus 2 E1 E6 cos of alpha by 2. So taking the same value of EMFs in all the conductors, then the resultant will become 2E cos alpha by 2. So now, according to the pitch factor definition, pitch factor Kp is equal to 2E cos alpha by 2 by 2E. That implies Kp pitch factor is equal to cos alpha by 2. So this is the pitch factor formula. Kp is equal to cos alpha by 2. And for nth order harmonic, pitch factor is given by cos n alpha by 2. For nth harmonic. So to reduce nth harmonic, alpha must be equal to 180 degrees by n, and which implies beta is equal to 180 degrees into n minus 1 by n. So if you want to eliminate that particular nth order harmonic, alpha must be this and beta must be this. And so far from the earlier discussion of harmonics, what we have discussed is even harmonics are not present in the alternator. So our focus is to how to reduce the odd harmonics. So odd harmonics are third order, fifth, 7th, 9th, etc. And here the dominant harmonics are 3rd, 5th and 7th, 9th. And higher order harmonics have less effect on the fundamental signal. So let us focus how to reduce these lower order harmonics which are dominant harmonics. So how the third order harmonic can be eliminated will be discussed in the further discussions. In alternator design, beta is generally maintained 150 degrees. So with 150 degrees of coil span, 80% of 5th and 7th order harmonics are eliminated. So how these 5th order and 7th order harmonics are eliminated means, place this n is equal to 5 in pitch factor, so cos n alpha by 2. So place 5 and find pitch factor, place 7, find pitch factor. So Kp will be very, very low value. Okay, so as the pitch factor due to these harmonics are very low, which implies that EMF induced because of these harmonics are very, very low. So that we can conclude that by maintaining 150 degrees beta, then the 5th order and 7th order harmonics can be reduced by 80%. So now our focus must be on how to reduce the 3rd order harmonics and the higher order harmonics. Next, distribution winding. If the conductors of the same phase are placed in the same slot, then that type of winding is called as concentrator winding. If other than placing the conductors of same phase in same slot, if the conductors of same phase are placed in the different slots, then that type of winding comes under distributor winding. In earlier discussion, we have seen that with distributor winding, the induced EMF will be close to the sinusoidal. Distribution factor or breadth factor distribution factor Kd is defined as the vector sum of EMF induced in distributed winding that phase to the arithmetic sum of EMF induced in concentrated winding per phase. So Kd is given by sin m gamma by 2 by m sin gamma by 2. This is the distribution factor formula. Sin m gamma by 2 by m sin gamma by 2, where gamma is the slot angle and m into gamma is phase spread. And here comes the important discussion on phase spread. M into gamma, where gamma is slot angle, okay, and m is number of slots per pole per phase. For single phase machine, phase spread is equal to (180 degrees by n). So n is here 1, that is equal to 180 degrees. For two-phase machine, so phase spread is equal to 180 degrees by 2, that is equal to 90 degrees. And for three-phase machine, 180 degrees by 3, that is equal to 60 degrees. And for three-phase machine, phase spread of 60 degrees and 120 degrees is used. And of that, phase spread of 60 degrees is mostly used. Why? Because with phase spread of 60 degrees, 2-layer and single layer winding are possible. With n gamma is equal to 60 degrees. Whereas with phase spread of 120 degrees, only 2-layer winding is possible. So what is single layer winding, what is 2-layer winding means? If in a slot only one conductor is present, then that type of winding comes under single layer winding. If in a slot 2 conductors are present, then it comes under 2-layer winding. So with phase spread of 60 degrees, 2-layer winding and single layer winding are possible, whereas with phase spread of 120 degrees, only 2-layer winding is possible. And for suppose R phase is having 3 slots per pole per phase, means M is equal to 3, and let us suppose each slot angle is 20 degrees. Then phase spread of R phase is here 20 into 3, that is equal to 60 degrees. So for a 3-phase machine, phase spread of 60 degrees or 120 degrees are employed, but of that 60 degrees is preferred because 2-layer windings are possible and single layer winding is also possible. The other most important point here is with phase spread of 60 degrees, output will be more when compared with the phase spread of 120 degrees. Third order harmonics. And the harmonics of multiple 3 are called Triplen harmonics. And Triplen harmonics are 0 phase sequence harmonics or Co-phasors. So why third order harmonics are called 0 phase sequence harmonics or Co-phasors? Let's see. Consider an alternator supplying power to the load, which is star connected through the transmission lines. This is the line and these are the phases R, Y, and B is the normal phase sequence followed. So R at an angle 0, Y at an angle minus 120 and B at an angle minus 240 degrees. So what does this mean? It means if R phase starts first, then after minus 120 degrees lag, Y will start, and after further 120 degrees lag, B will start. Means before Y and B starts, R will take its path, form its closed circuit and it will return. Whereas after 120 degrees lag, then Y will start and it will take its closed circuit. And after further 120 degrees, B will start and it will take its own circuit. So here there is no opposition to the flow of currents because they are having different phase lags. Whereas if there is no phase lag, means R, Y, B will start at the same instant. So if suppose R has started like this and returned like this, and Y also same started like this and returned to this, and B also started and returned to this. So R, Y, B starts at same time and reach at the point same time. So there is no path for the other phases to form the closed circuit because they have jammed here. So is why here phase difference must be maintained. Now consider third order harmonics. So because of third order harmonics, the phase sequence will become Ry. So minus 120 into 3 and B minus 240 into 3, which implies R at an angle 0, Y at an angle 0, B at an angle 0 degrees. So third order harmonics are having 0 phase differences. Means the third harmonics are generated in the phases, but in the line they will not present because there is no closed circuit to form. As the phase difference between the three phases is 0 degrees because of third order harmonic, the currents due to R phase cannot take the closed path because it is being opposed by the Y and B at the same instant. So is why third order harmonics are present only in the phases. They are not present in the line. As the phase difference between the three phases is 0 degrees for the triplen harmonics. So is why triplen harmonics are called as zero phase sequence harmonics. They have magnitude, but phase differences is 0. So is why they are also called as co-phasors. From this, what you have to know is third order harmonics are present in the phases, but they are not present in the lines. So we have to think about how to reduce the third order harmonics in the phases. Distribution factor Kd is equal to sine m gamma by 2 by m sine gamma by 2. For nth order harmonic, Kd distribution factor is equal to sine mn gamma by 2 by m sine n gamma by 2. This is the distribution factor for nth order harmonic. With phase spread of 120 degrees and with triplet harmonic, let us suppose n is equal to 3. Then place this in Kdn. So Kdn becomes 0. Means with phase spread of 120 degrees, the EMF induced because of the triplet harmonics are 0. Means in phases, you can eliminate the triplet harmonics by providing the phase spread of 120 degrees. But phase spread of 60 degrees is used. Why? Because there is other way of eliminating the triplet harmonics in the phases. And why phase spread of 60 degrees is preferred means output is more for phase spread of 60 degrees when compared with phase spread of 120 degrees. Though the phase spread of 60 degrees is having triplet harmonics. So EMF equation of an alternator is 4.44 kp kd phi ft sin omega t. This is the final EMF equation for distributed and short pitch winding. So the EMF induced due to nth order harmonic is En is equal to 4.44 kpn kdn phi and frequency f nf is equal to t into sin n omega t. This is the EMF induced due to nth order harmonic. So our aim here is to reduce the EMFs induced due to nth order harmonics. And with phase spread of 120 degrees, third order harmonics in the phases of alternators are eliminated. But we are not going for phase spread of 120 degrees. We are going for phase spread of 60 degrees because output will be more with phase spread of 60 degrees. And the triplet harmonics are eliminated in other way. Okay, it will be discussed in later. Next, uniformly distributed winding. if M number of slots per pole per phase is large, then EMF induced is more. So this type of winding is called as uniformly distributed winding, because if M is more sinusoidal. So is why this winding is called uniformly distributed winding. Distribution factor for uniformly distributed winding is sin M gamma by 2 by M gamma by 2 into pi by 180 degrees. This is the formula for KDU. Next topic, relations between 3-phase, 2-phase and single-phase winding. And this topic is important because with this concept, few numerical problems can be solved. Means the numerical problems like if a machine is wound with 3-phase winding, with the same winding, if it is rewound for 2-phase, then what is the rating? That kind of problems can be solved with these relations. Rating of alternator is directly proportional to the distribution factor, and induced EMF per phase is directly proportional to the product of distribution factor into turns. For a 3-phase machine, ratio of kVA of 3-phase machine with phase spread of 60 degrees to the kVA of 120 degrees phase spread is equal to 1.15. And similarly, EMF induced in a 3-phase machine with phase spread of 60 degrees to the EMF induced in a 3-phase machine with a phase spread of 120 degrees. This is the value. Next, ratio of kVA of 60 degrees 3-phase machine to the kVA of 90 degrees phase spread of 2-phase machine is equal to 1.06. And EMF ratios of 60 degrees phase spread of a 3-phase machine to the EMF induced in a 2-phase machine is equal to 0.707, and kVA ratio of 3-phase machine having a phase spread of 60 degrees to the kVA of single-phase machine having a phase spread of 120 degrees is 1.5, and EMF ratios is 0.5, and kVA of 2-phase machine to the kVA of single-phase machine is equal to the √2. So these are the important ratios. Advantages of star connection over delta connection. So in order to discuss about the advantages of star connection over delta connection in the stator winding of alternator, we need to discuss about the conclusions from the harmonics topic and armature winding topic. So from Fourier analysis, what we have discussed is that a non-sinusoidal signal can be represented in terms of different sinusoidal signals having different frequencies. And this is our required fundamental signal, and the remaining signals we consider as harmonics. Because of these waveforms, our required signal is getting into a non-sinusoidal signal. So, and what we have seen from the harmonics topic, that these harmonics we categorize as odd and even harmonics. And in alternator, even harmonics are not present, they are eliminated. So our focus must be on how to reduce the odd harmonics. That's the conclusion from the harmonics topic. And coming to the armature winding topic. So by using distributed winding, higher order harmonics are reduced. And by using short pitch winding, lower order harmonics are reduced. And by using fractional pitch winding, here slot harmonics are reduced. And the odd harmonics we classified as space harmonics and slot harmonics. And space harmonics are because of the maximum flux densities present at the center of the poles. So they depend on the poles. Whereas slot harmonics are due to stator slots. And to reduce these slot harmonics, what we did? We gone for the fractional pitch winding as well as we skewed the stator slots. But remember that slot harmonics also are part of space harmonics. Means here the space harmonics consists of the all lower order and higher order harmonics, and all are odd harmonics. So how these harmonics can be eliminated means by using the distributed winding, higher order harmonics are eliminated like 23, 27, 31, etc. And by using short pitch winding, we have eliminated the lower order harmonics. Here the lower order harmonics like 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, etc. And all these comes under lower order harmonics, and remaining all comes under higher order harmonics. And the lower order harmonics, which are highly dominant, of these 5th and 7th order harmonics are reduced by 80% by using the coil span of 150 degrees. 3rd order harmonic, 9th order harmonic and 15th order harmonic, all these comes under triplen harmonics because they are multiples of 3. And how these harmonics can be eliminated will be discussed now here in this topic. And remember that in the armature winding topic, we have discussed that for a phase spread of 120 degrees, triplen harmonics are eliminated completely. But we are not going for a phase spread of 120 degrees, and we are going for phase spread of 60 degrees to have maximum output. So here with the phase spread of 60 degrees, we are designing the alternator. Means alternators are having the 3rd order harmonics in the phases. So now we have to eliminate these 3rd order harmonics, and how we are eliminating will be discussed now in this topic. That comes under the advantages of star connection over delta connection. Simply to eliminate space harmonics, we have to make the EMFs induced by that particular ordered harmonic to 0. So how to make this induced EMF 0 means either we have to make Kpn 0 or Kdn be 0. So Kpn, you know that pitch factor cos n alpha by 2. So choose the alpha, means choose the beta, because alpha plus beta is equal to 180 degrees. So choose the particular value of beta such that for a particular value of alpha, Kpn will be 0. So is why we have taken the beta as 150 degrees. So with 150 degrees, the 5th order harmonic and 7th order harmonic are reduced by 80%. Okay, next, slot harmonics. So slot harmonics, they can't be eliminated. Okay, so they can be reduced by skewing and by using fractional short pitch winding. And slot harmonics have Kd and Kp, means distribution factor and pitch factor, same as fundamental. Okay, remember that. Now let's discuss about the advantage of star over delta. Consider a star connected stator winding RYP phase sequence. Okay, and from earlier discussion, what we have concluded that in the phases along with fundamental, triplen harmonics are also present, whereas remaining harmonics are eliminated by the windings. And along with fundamental, the triplen harmonic EMFs are present. So because of these triplen harmonics, our induced EMF is becoming non-sinusoidal. Okay, so in order to make that sinusoidal, we have to reduce this or eliminate this triplen harmonic induced EMFs. And why these are present in phases and not in lines means because as triplen harmonics are zero sequence harmonics, they have no path to flow. So if we can provide path to these triplen harmonics, then this can be reduced and our induced EMF becomes sinusoidal. So our output EMF from the alternator becomes sinusoidal. So advantage of star connection is that it can have a neutral connection and which can be grounded. If it is grounded, then these triplen harmonics will have a path to flow, so that this will be eliminated and the output of alternator will be our pure sinusoidal induced EMF. Consider the delta. And now, as we know that in alternator, along with our fundamental, triplen harmonics are also present. And now because of delta connection, as delta is closed circuit and triplen harmonics will find the path and the circulating currents will flow, and as they are in aiding polarity, they add up and they heat up the winding and they appear in the form of copper losses, so that our efficiency will get reduced. So is why we are preferring the star connection in alternators over delta connection. And next topic, how to change phase sequence, as our regularly followed phase sequences are YP and some applications requires the phase sequence of R, B, Y. So here comes the necessity of changing the phase sequence. So how to change the phase sequence? Consider the stator like this and having three conductors or YP like that, and let this be the salient pole rotor, and as the salient pole rotor requires the field excitation, let it be given a voltage supply V, so that let north pole and south pole form like that, and let the rotor rotation be anti-clockwise. Now if the rotor is rotating, then the phase sequence followed will be R, Y and B. Now how to change this phase sequence? So let us suppose if we reverse the direction of field current, then this will become south and this will become north pole. And now observe the phase sequence. So now first B, next R, next Y and again B and next R. So if you observe, again the phase sequence same is obtained, R, Y, P. Means from this what you have to note that the phase sequence is independent of the field current direction. And so how to change the phase sequence means simply reverse the direction of rotation of rotor. So if you change the direction of rotation of rotor, obviously you will get the other phase sequence. And similarly in case of synchronous motors, so to change the direction of rotation, there also the direction of rotation of rotor is independent of the field current direction. Then how to change the direction of rotation of synchronous motor means simply change the phase sequence. So by changing the phase sequence, you can reverse the direction of rotation of synchronous motors. Now the other content of this video is armature reaction. Armature reaction is the effect of armature flux on main flux. Now let's study the effect of armature flux on main flux. So consider case 1, UPF, unity power factor. Okay, from earlier discussions, that is from the EMF equation, if flux is like this, then always the induced EMF lags behind the flux by 90 degrees. Now unity power factor case means, okay, we are considering the resistive load case. So for resistive loads, voltage and currents are in phase. So let us suppose this is the voltage and this be the current IA. When load is connected to the alternator, so alternator forms a closed circuit so that current will flow, and that current we call as armature current. And when current flows in the conductor, we know that flux will be created around the conductor, and that flux, okay, may oppose the main flux or may aid the main flux or may distort the main flux. So this is the armature current which is flowing in the stator armature winding, and because of that there is a flux, okay, armature flux, and this flux is crossing the main flux, okay. So is why for unity power factor loads, armature reaction is said to be cross magnetizing. Next, consider the second case of ZPF lag, means pure L load, means inductive load. For that, similarly take this. So this is flux and this is the induced EMF. Now ZPF lag. To the pure inductive loads, what we know that to the voltage, current lags behind by 90 degrees. So if suppose this is the terminal voltage and this is the induced EMF, and let this be the terminal voltage, so to that our armature current lags behind it by 90 degrees. So now because of this armature current, there is the armature flux. And now observe that this armature flux in opposite direction to the main flux, means here demagnetizing effect is occurring. So this armature flux is reducing the main flux. And next consider the case 3. So ZPF lead. So ZPF lead means pure capacitor load. So we know that for pure capacitor load, if this is the terminal voltage, then current always leads the voltage by 90 degrees. So now consider the case like this. So if this is the main flux and this be the induced voltage, and obviously terminal voltage will be this, and for capacitor loads, pure capacitor loads, current will be leading. So current will be in this direction, armature current. and because of the armature current, armature flux phi. So if you observe now, main magnetic field flux and armature flux are on same direction, means these both are aiding together, means editing, which means magnetizing effect. So here the armature reaction, the effect of armature flux on main flux is studied here. Means if the load is purely resistive, then the armature effect is said to be cross magnetizing, because armature flux is crossing the main flux. And if the load is purely inductive load, then the armature effect is said to be demagnetizing effect, because here armature flux is opposing the main flux, means decreasing the main flux. That's why demagnetizing effect. Whereas for pure capacitive loads, so armature reaction is said to be magnetizing effect, because here the armature flux is aiding the main flux. Now consider the case 4. So 0.8 PF lag, which means RL load. So consider main magnetic field and the induced EMF. And now, as it is RL load, not pure inductive load, so current will not be completely lag behind the voltage by 90 degrees. It will be like something like this. So here let us take the components like this, and let this be the phi AC and phi AD, and this is the component which is cross magnetizing the main magnetic field, and this is the component which is demagnetizing the main magnetic field. So RL load here will have the combination of both effects, that is partly demagnetizing effect and partly cross magnetizing effect. Now consider case 5. 0.8 PF lead, which means RC load. So obviously consider like this: main magnetic field and induced EMF E. And now this is not purely capacitive load, and here as it is RC load, so it will not lead the voltage by 90 degrees, it will be at some angle. Let this be like this. Okay, now this has two components: flux due to armature current, so this be phi AC, and let this be phi AM. So if you observe, this component of armature flux is aiding the main field, and this component of armature flux is cross magnetizing, means here partly cross magnetizing effect and partly magnetizing effect. So these are the effects of armature flux on main flux.